Okay, in math, we have learned so much this year, right? We've worked hard on all sorts of things about addition and subtraction. We've worked on skip counting. We've worked on shapes and fractions. We've worked on multiplication. We've worked on being able to do addition and subtraction even when there are 2-digit or 3-digit addition or subtraction. And one of the things we've really focused on is place value, knowing where to line up your numbers so that you can answer everything correctly. We've talked about expanded form where you take a number apart to write it out. Okay, you've learned so much this year and I'm really proud of you. Here at the end of the year, I want to assign you some worksheets that are review worksheets, okay? So your homework today for Friday is page 353, that's one side of a worksheet, and page 360, one side of a worksheet, okay? Pay attention. You might want to pull those worksheets out and circle the numbers so you can remember you need to do 353 and 360. Okay, I want you to review some math concepts, maybe that we haven't worked on in a while, but they're important for you to remember. Page 353 is reviewing things about 2-digit and 3-digit addition and subtraction. All right, so in the very beginning of that worksheet, they're going to ask you to use a strategy to solve, and we just want you to find the correct answer to the addition problems. Some of the strategies we've learned are, one of the most important ones, I think, is the count on. You can just start from where you are. If you have a problem like 15 plus 2, you don't have to count all on your fingers. You can start, you can count on from 15. 15, 16, 17. Just count up 2, right? Count on from where you are. Start from the bigger number and count on, okay? That's an important strategy you can use. If something is asking you plus 10, you can think of how much you already know how to count by tens. You can think of what's 10 more. If something says 37 plus 10, you know how to count by tens and you can just do 10 more. 37 plus 10, 47. Okay, so things like that we've worked on and learned before, you're going to use that kind of things to answer the addition problems in the beginning. And then you also have addition problems. Sometimes you'll need to rename and sometimes you won't. So you're going to always start in the ones place. You remember this. We'll start in the ones place and we see 7 plus 5. What does that equal? That equals 12. And so we put the 2 here, but we rename the other part into the tens column, right? Because you can't put 12 in the ones column, it won't fit. But the 2, rename the 1 up here. Now 1 plus 3 plus 3 equals 7. So I want you to practice that addition and subtraction of the 2 and 3-digit numbers. I want you to work hard on this to see how much you are keeping in your mind, even though it's been a little bit since we've worked on it. Think of the things that you know and remember about place value and lining things up and starting in the ones place. All right. Then page 360 is a little multiplication review. We did that not very long ago. So it's just going to ask you math facts. You might want to remind yourself how you can count. You can do skip counting to help you find the answers. They have a few problems where they're going to ask you to draw pictures. Like there's one that says, picture this and solve to complete the sentence. 4 trays with 3 bananas each. So I drew 4 trays. And then we'll do a little bunch of 3 bananas. 1, 2, 3 bananas. 1, 2, 3 bananas. 1, 2, 3 bananas. Okay? And then that's going to help us find the answer to the multiplication problem, okay? 4 times 3 equals 12, right? So you'll draw, there's a few times for you to draw and then write out your multiplication problems, okay? And then at the bottom, it's just multiplication problems. 2 times 7 equals, 5 times 1 equals, and keep in mind the whole time that you're doing multiplication, right? So I want you to work hard on these pages and reviewing things we've already learned, because on Monday you're going to bring these pages with you, and on Monday I'm going to have time to talk to students, just 4 of you at a time, Monday and Tuesday, 4 kids at a time, and we're going to go over things that we've learned earlier in the year, like these math concepts, some English review concepts, and just see how you're doing retaining what we've been learning. All right, so work hard on this. Keep in mind that it's reviewing stuff we've already learned. And then on Monday or Tuesday, we'll set up a time for you to talk with me and just a few other students. Okay, so work hard, and I look forward to seeing you. All right, in reading, the new story that we're beginning begins on page 165. And you know, every time we read something in our reading book, we talk about what type of writing is it. Sometimes we read things that are a play, right? They have characters with lines and act 1, act 2, things like that. Sometimes the things we read are an article that give us factual information about things. They might be telling us about something from science, or they might be information about something like an instrument. It's facts that you can learn about a topic, right? Sometimes there might be a fantasy where the animals are talking and wearing clothes, or magical imaginary things happen. Sometimes we have read stories that are from a real time in history, but some of the story is made up. That's called historical fiction. So there are all different types of writing, and we've gotten a chance to read a lot of different ones in our reading book this year. A few times in our reading book this year, we have read something that is a Bible retelling. So it's things from the Bible, but someone puts it together and retells it, maybe in their own words. Sometimes this can also be called a synopsis. It means you're taking a lot of information and putting it in something smaller and maybe easier to read. Okay, so what we're coming to today is a Bible retelling. The pages I would like you to read are 165 to 168. It's a Bible retelling from the book of Revelation. It will tell God's promises to the future. He revealed his promises to his apostle, John. Okay, so you're going to read these pages, right? And we want to remember when we're reading a Bible retelling, we've read some other Bible retellings in our reading book. We read about how God made all things good in the beginning. He made everything, and it was very good. But people made a choice to sin, right? And then things were broken. We read another Bible retelling that talked about how God promised a rescuer to come. He promised his son would come and start a new way for people to be made right with God. And he sent his son, Jesus. We read a Bible retelling about when Jesus was born, something that we celebrate on Christmas, right? We also read a Bible retelling about how Jesus died to save people from their sins, and also that he's stronger than death and he rose again. Okay, so those are all Bible retellings we've come to in our reading book this year. And you know what those remind us? What we should be thinking about is that God keeps his promises. He's very powerful, he's very loving, and when he promises, he keeps his promises. Okay, so this is the section you're assigned to read in your reading book, and this is your worksheet. The front 333 is a comprehension to see if you're remembering what you just read, and the back is a phonics page. It is reviewing different vowels that can make the sound ooh. Let's look at a few together, just so we make sure we are understanding. We have EW, UI, UE, and OO. These are all vowel combinations that can make the sound ooh. Let's think of a few words that use them, okay? How about for EW, we could write flew. The bird flew, right? And for UI, one word that uses that is fruit. Fruit. Ooh, you see the ooh right there? It's spelled different, but it sounds the same. UE, we could think of glue, or blue, like the color blue, right? Now, OO, there are several I can think of. I'm thinking of raccoon, that has the ooh. How about balloon? Balloon, okay? So your phonics 334, your phonics page is all going to be review of this concept, that there are different vowel combinations that can make the sound ooh. So you're going to find those words, you're going to use the best word to finish a sentence, things like that. Okay, so I want you to work hard on your reading, do your comprehension, and then work on your phonics page on the back. Okay, for English, we've worked so hard this year. We've learned so many different things about words and sentences, the parts of sentences. We've learned about nouns, which are person, place, or thing. We've learned about verbs, how they can be an action verb or they can be a linking verb like is, are, was, were. Okay, we've also learned about how sentence parts work together, how a subject is who or what the sentence is about. And then there's a predicate, which always has as its main part a verb, tells what the subject does or what the subject is. Okay, and we've also worked on writing paragraphs, and we've worked on writing letters, and we've worked on knowing where the commas go, and if you make an abbreviation when it needs a dot, all sorts of things. You've worked hard this year, and I'm really proud of you. Today I've assigned you a cumulative review in English. It's page 321. All right, it's going to review things about, first they're going to ask you to pick which sentence is written correctly. So you're going to think about all you know about sentences, how they have a capital letter and an end mark, how they make complete sense, okay? And you're going to also find compound words when two words come together to make one new word. You're going to also find some pronouns. A pronoun replaces a noun in order to avoid repetition. Okay, so instead of saying the same noun again and again, you can use a pronoun like he, she, it, I, we, they, things like that. You're also going to pick which adjective best completes a sentence. The adjectives can do a lot of different things. One of the things they can do is compare. So you have some sentences here where you're going to choose which adjective that compares best completes the sentence. Okay, and I'm going to do great with this. It's important that we spend some time here at the end of the year to do some review of all the different things we've learned. Now on Monday, Monday and Tuesday, we're going to have time where Mrs. Parsons meets with just 4 kids at a time, and we'll go over the things that we did on this cumulative review and on your math reviews, and just talk about some of what we've learned this year, just to assess how you're doing and how you're retaining all of this great information that we've been learning together. Okay, so I want you to work hard on this, and on Monday or Tuesday, we'll set up a time that we'll talk on the computer in Teams with 4 of you and just 1 of me, and we'll go over these things. Okay, so work hard and look in your brain and think about all these things that we've learned and how well you can remember.